And welcome back. This is game 2 of a week 2 matchup between bnasty and Diener, a Protoss Terran team, and their mirror image, NastyWitIt and KrysJustice, also a Terran Protoss team. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. So far, it looks like it's swaying heavily in favor of bnasty and Diener. They played a much better game in game 1, very well put together. They played their game, and they took advantage of a lack of scouting from NastyWitIt and KrysJustice to really catch them off guard as much as possible and whittle them down. Early attack crippling NastyWitIt. We'll have to see how this team bounces back. Looked like a mirror image last time they were on either side. If you notice, we're on high orbit again. And interesting choice, considering that in week 1, NastyWitIt and KrysJustice also chose to replay the same map again. So you have to wonder if there's some strategy in there. Last time it got them 6-spooled. Hopefully they're not cheesed out again. But we'll see what happens. Diener with an early scout going in, taking a look around. And he will go ahead and check out. Not much to see here. And we do see early Diener putting the supply depot down to keep an eye on this back door. This is an elimination threat game for KrysJustice and NastyWitIt, so of course they want to be on the lookout for anything. You know, anything counts. Anything can get you a win in this season, so they want to be careful that desperation doesn't get the best of their opponents and lead to something that they're not expecting. We see Diener taking a little bit of damage on that scout, but trying to keep it in these bases as long as possible. Backdoor for KrysJustice and NastyWitIt was a key moment there, especially this section right here, as they got doom dropped dirty by DT, and that was courtesy of bnasty. It's amazing how they're almost in the exact same positions as last time as well. Only NastyWitIt and KrysJustice here have swapped places, so we'll have to see how that plays out as well. Do see an early Cyberknife score going down. We saw a good army composition. Oh, and a supply depot in the center as well, completing the wall off. So that will at least prevent them from being scouted anymore, although I think Diener's pretty much done with that. So last time we saw a lot of Colossi but without an upgrade, which is a very deadly composition around a defensive Terran, which Diener did play. So we'll have to see what happens differently this game. Diener also went for a fast expand. We'll have to see how that plays out as well. Go ahead and take a look at the production tab here. We see Marines coming out for both Terran players. We see units coming out for bnasty. Nothing yet for KrysJustice. So we'll have to see if what build he's going to go with. KrysJustice is a master of many builds, known for doing all kinds of openers. We'll have to see what kind of creative opener he pulls out this time. NastyWitIt going down with another barracks. Definitely want to see more barracks from him. Last time I think he ran the entire game on 3, maybe 4 barracks. So definitely going to need to up it for the unit counts. See a lone Marine from Diener just kind of walking around here. Probably most likely going for this Zelnaga to keep an eye on things. And we see a Marine Zealot kind of packing up here. Take a look at the unit tab. We don't see too much. Handful of units all around. Nothing for KrysJustice. And at 4:40 we are approaching the 5.5 minute mark. We'll have to see if we see any early rush action going on. It seems like there will be no early expansion from Diener. However, we do see a factory and engineering bay going down early. It's an interesting choice there. We'll have to see if he goes with any early factory units. Diener being completely unchallenged at this wall. Look at that. He shoots a pylon and runs away. That is very disrespectful. And NastyWitIt is not appreciating this right now. It's basically, yeah, he's completely outranging these Marines. He wants them to open that door and come chase him. And they will do it. And unfortunately that Marine paid for it with his life. So Diener trying to mess psychologically possibly with KrysJustice and NastyWitIt. However, after last game, we probably don't need to be messed with any more than they already are. They are definitely probably a little rattled and want some vengeance in the second game. And this is a team that at this point is very hungry. We see Void Rays coming out for KrysJustice. This is a strategy that he has used unsuccessfully so far in the season. However, he might get lucky this time. It will depend on whether or not Diener sees it and whether or not Diener goes with Mass Marines. Mass Marines, of course, a hard counter to Void Rays, and definitely going to shut that down quickly. We saw a hard counter to Void Rays shut it down in a matchup against dude from Brazil, in which case KrysJustice tried his hardest to make Mass Void Rays work, and Hydralisk just kept shutting it down. KrysJustice tends to get a little stubborn on his builds, and even if it's not working, he just keeps trying it anyway. So we'll have to see if he can catch them off guard with these Void Rays. They're definitely coming out on the early side. He'll need to move them quickly, though. Doesn't have a lot of time before that Marine count gets a little too high. You see bnasty and a handful of Marines taking down this blockage here for the gold, and we do see starports with tech labs. That does not look good at all. That looks like we may see some Banshee play, possibly. And we do see construction now. Nope, looks like Vikings. So these tech labs, I'm assuming, are definitely going to go to use at some point. So we'll have to see if he tries to build anything else. We do see, oh, looks like high-tech auto-tracking is on. So that definitely means some Raven play. Diener has been experimenting with Ravens lately. He's very good at finding these niche units and creative ways of using them. So we'll have to see if we do see any Raven play, and if we do, how he tends to use them, because he definitely enjoys using units nobody expects. And once again, the scouting side of things, you can see here on the minimap, absolutely no scouting for KrysJustice and NastyWitIt. They have no idea what's coming. On the other side, we haven't seen too much scouting. We do see an observer here from bnasty. Not sure if it's waiting to go in or if it's just waiting to see if anything comes out. But not a whole lot of extra scouting since then. Oh, and KrysJustice just cannot catch a break on his Void Ray rushes. He is detected early by this scout, and we'll have to see how they respond to it. bnasty putting down a pylon. Looks like he's going to go for the same expansion he took last game. And unfortunately, KrysJustice is just the worst of lucks so far in this season, as he has been spotted early. See Diener going down for a gold expansion, and also the same expansion he took last time. KrysJustice approaching the 10-minute mark for Void Rays. He really needs to get a move on with those. NastyWitIt just with mass Marines holding up the wall so far, and we'll see these roll in here. It looks like even though they've seen the Void Rays, they are not actually trying to engage them yet. And these Void Rays are so far uncontested, and they will force bnasty to cancel his expansion. And we'll have to see what the response will be. It looks like they are pulling back to the main base. We do see Stalkers coming down, a good ranged unit, and these Void Rays will hit the back of the base here and try to take down as much as they can. Unfortunately, those Vikings are not going to make it easy. One Void Ray going down, the other three running for their life. Blink Stalkers from bnasty coming in, popping another Void Ray, and he is going to chase these down. There's not a lot of room to move on the side of this map here. Oh, another Void Ray goes down, and it finally, one Void Ray makes a target here. He may not even be able to pop a single unit before he goes down, and another Void Ray goes down. Wow, 4 Void Rays go down without much of a fight. No damage really to show for it, and you have to wonder, unfortunately, KrysJustice just seems to have the worst luck lately with moving out undetected. bnasty placing this here, and it ended up being their saving grace. We do now see 4 Banshees rolling out for the Terran Diener. He is going to go ahead and hit the back. We did see that NastyWitIt had some problems in the first game with detection. They're going to try to take advantage of that again. We see the rest of the army pulling up the back. We do see an early fusion core here. That looks very interesting. We do not have any starports, I believe, with a tech lab, so it will be interesting to see what he plans to do with that fusion core and how soon he plans to use it. On one base, it's going to be very difficult for him. Take a look at the resource tab here. You can see that he just doesn't have anywhere near enough resources to really build any battle cruisers. And these Banshees, they don't even need the cloak. They're just coming in here and wreaking havoc. NastyWitIt not even attempting to move his workers out of the way. They may have just happened too fast. Simultaneously, we see these Void Rays engaging with bnasty's army and a handful of Diener's Marines, and they will very easily take down those Void Rays. This is not looking good at all. NastyWitIt, of course, an early target in the first game, early target again. Not enough detection, not enough Marines, and these Banshees are going to start taking everything down. We do see, however, NastyWitIt's Marines going to good use over here, clearing out the rest of that army. NastyWitIt definitely coming in to at least stop half of the problem. Unfortunately, there's just nothing to deal with. These now 6 Banshees just running rampant. They need an observer. They need a scan. A scan finally going down. Misses the target. Banshees bug out, having done massive damage to NastyWitIt. This is not looking good at all. NastyWitIt rolling out with this massive Marines here. Quite a bit of Marines. And we'll have to see what he plans to do with them. KrysJustice has 2 Zealots that have lost their mind and are deciding to just wander aimlessly into the enemy. This may be an attempt to scout, but he's not going to see too much because even with these massive hit point Zealots, there are just way too many armies at this point. And this Zealot will see the light of day just for a second and then go down. bnasty rebuilding his expansion, feeling very confident that this Overseer will protect him from any further incursions without him being able to respond. And KrysJustice, in typical fashion, not giving up on the Void Rays just yet. Wants to see if he can pull it off. If he wants to go critical mass on these Void Rays, though, he's going to have to hope that he doesn't go harassed, and he's going to need to expand. There's just not enough gas on a single base to try and hit any kind of critical mass. NastyWitIt's Marines saving the day and giving them a little bit of extra breath in this battle here. Some very energy-deprived Banshees rolling out to the south. Looks like they're going to try to follow the same flight path as before. They did see this fusion core, however, they probably realize that there isn't much they can do with it just yet, especially since they gimped the entire economy. We do also see an SCV going, most likely for an expansion over here, and there it is. Let's go ahead and take a look at the production tab. We do see that NastyWitIt is still building Marines, and we do still see Void Rays here from KrysJustice. We do see an extra command center. We already saw that. And we do see battle cruisers coming out from Diener. Now, how is that for a staple? Diener going ahead and saying, you know what? If you're going to build battle cruisers, I'm going to build battle cruisers. And we see at least 2 battle cruisers coming out. We'll have to see how many more he's able to pop out in time. We see more Void Rays rolling out. This time, they will face some cannons, but they may be able to do a little bit more damage considering that, the Stalkers are not in position. These Banshees look like they're waiting for a coordinated attack, just kind of hanging out there. And bnasty has eyes all over this base. Void Rays skirting around the side, trying to avoid these cannons. And they will roll in the back of this base, one cannon taking a few shots. And the Void Rays will now probably go to work. Just as the Stalkers blink in, take down a Void Ray. And they will probably not get much of anything here. All these Stalkers are just completely devastating those Void Rays. And these DTs, of course, just there for good fashion. And that is the end of the Void Ray threat once again. That makes the second time he has been rebuffed on that base. We'll have to see if he changes strategies or if he's just going to keep doubling down on the Void Rays. We do see some more Warp Gates up. May try to go for some late Warp Gate builds. These Banshees still just accumulating energy over here, just waiting. And NastyWitIt, unfortunately, his economy completely crippled. He's down to only 5 workers, still trying to rebuild. So difficult to do with only 1 base. Not even enough energy for mules to catch up. We do see a Void Ray under construction for KrysJustice. It looks like he will try a 3rd time. And NastyWitIt losing an SCV over there in the corner. We now see 3 battle cruisers under construction and 6 more Banshees. On the field already. 3 battle cruisers on the field, not under construction. Under construction, we only have 1 battle cruiser. These Banshees, of course, just raining hell down without any kind of scanning ability. These Marines are just just decoration, really. The scan comes down, but those Marines are not in position to take advantage of it. A lone Void Ray able to start taking some damage down there, as we do have finally some kind of defense, but not much. As you see more cannons going down and a Dark Shrine for KrysJustice as they're trying to get back in this as best they can. KrysJustice, of course, finally expanding over here and being able to take down the last of those DTs. Very annoying. And this coordinated attack not going probably as well as they would like. However, they are keeping NastyWitIt out of the fight. He still does not have any missile turrets or any detection whatsoever. And it looks like Diener will pull out with these Banshees here as a much larger army rolls in for bnasty to avenge those DTs that got taken out by these cannons. And definitely lots of action going on here as they're trying to just kind of poke in. And the Stalkers arrive. And this is going to be a very critical battle as KrysJustice has completely mined out his main. He loses this, he might as well GG the game as his income will completely plummet. His resources are enough for maybe some Zealots here. You do see NastyWitIt, his supply block. These Marines are coming in trying to pull off a second save. Not sure if they're going to be enough this time. And it's going to be very, very close to blink to try and salvage some of those Stalkers. And these Marines just not able to get enough targeting, and this DT is going to go unchecked. There's just no detection for it, and it's just roaming around, slicing Marines in half, and it looks like they will be able to fight off these Marines with the thanks to that one single DT, and this is not looking good at all. It was almost a Pyrrhic victory for bnasty as most of his army was wiped out, but he now has absolutely no threat. He's going to go ahead and take down the rest of these pylons, and we'll have to see what KrysJustice is going to do. He needs to get these gateways up and running once again. We do see some SCVs going in to saturate Diener's 3rd base. Diener, of course, with quite an armada at this point. Lots and lots of battle cruisers and banshees, and unfortunately, we do see some Raven play as well. Still picking on NastyWitIt. The poor guy just cannot get any leverage here. He's just, he has not been able to even save up enough money here. He should probably be asking for a donation from KrysJustice, who has plenty of money, and he could get some cannons up there. I'm sorry, some turrets. We do see some DTs from KrysJustice erecting their own justice here. You know, it's just, it's a very messy game. Very messy game indeed. Unfortunately, just not looking good for NastyWitIt. He has just been taking a beating the entire game. And Diener at this point just going for the marquee victory because he has more than enough to end this right now. And he's just holding on. I don't know why, because there's really nothing here to combat them. We have everyone is just starving out. KrysJustice barely any mineral count, only gas at this point. The economy completely favoring the other side. KrysJustice still with some decent mineral count, but not enough to really deal with anything. We see NastyWitIt with a Viking. I mean, this is just, unfortunately, this is just looking really ugly. This game is most likely over. It's just a matter of time before Diener rolls in with this fleet and takes out everything else. We do see a Viking taking some shots, and it will uncover what can only make things worse for them. And KrysJustice leaving the game instantly, realizing there is no hope whatsoever. NastyWitIt leaves as well. And Diener's armada never even gets to fire a shot at the base, and just showing their presence against what minuscule army NastyWitIt and KrysJustice had left, and that ends the game right there. A crushing defeat, unfortunately, for NastyWitIt and KrysJustice. The harassment too strong from the other side, and that's 2 games in a row that cloaked units really catch them off guard, and you have to wonder if maybe at this point they need to look at their scouting and their detection and just overhaul the early game and see if maybe they can get some early detection, early scouting down, because that's really just crippling them. Unfortunately, that is the 2nd loss in a row for KrysJustice and NastyWitIt, but it is good news for Diener and bnasty, giving them their first win of the season. And we'll have to see how both teams continue to play as the season rolls on.